Floyd outdoing him. He always been.
All his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting.
No lie, I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bruh. If you know about boxing, come on, it is Gervonta Davis.
Gervonta Davis just lashed out at Floyd Mayweather after finding out he was coaching Lamont Roach. Davis said Floyd constantly puts him in situations where he can't win. The outcome of Floyd's training speaks for itself. Roach now glides with slick footwork, fires off clean combinations, and guards with pinpoint accuracy, showing he's locked in and prepared for battle.
No. He don't hit you. I see that. Oh. I know what y'all think I'm doing. I go that way for a reason. Who's the girl recording? Who's she recording?
Since the very beginning of his career, Gervonta Davis has faced manipulation and favoritism from Floyd Mayweather. What first seemed like mentorship slowly turned into control. People close to the situation pointed out how Floyd regularly put Davis in spots that restricted his freedom instead of letting Davis carve out his own legacy. Mayweather's actions showed he wanted to shape him into a copy of himself while still keeping him beneath his spotlight.
Adrian had the weigh-in. So from his weigh-in, they meet us at the food spot. So from there, we go to the gym. So remind you, they already got this set up. Floyd already got it set up. He already posted on Instagram. It probably was like 100 people in there, and he turned the heat up. That's what Floyd do. He turned the heat up in the gym while you're in there. So he turned the heat up. Boom. We spar. But while we sparring, Floyd is in the ring. Like, every time I'm punching, Floyd like grab my hand, like yank it back, whereas though I can't even punch Devin. So it was times that like I catch Devin, boom, or I'm about to swing and Floyd like yank my hand back, or he'll push me to the ropes. Like he was actually like touching me while we were sparring. Like
why?
Because it was like Devin was his guy, because Devin was training at his gym at the time, so, and he was training with his father. So, Devin was on. Floyd was on Devin's side.
Sounds
so
like
that's
a conspiracy to me.
Yeah, but later down the line, probably about like a couple months. No, this was recently. Not recently, but probably like 2 years ago. I asked Devin to like come to like spar me. He was like, "No, I ain't no sparring partner." I had somebody hit him up.
Davis revealed that during sparring sessions with Devin Haney, Mayweather kept stepping in at key moments. Right when Davis began landing solid punches or taking charge, Floyd would stop the action or jump in, making it seem like Haney was getting special treatment. Davis felt like he wasn't given a fair chance to stand out, even in private sessions meant to help him grow. That kind of interference made Davis feel like he was being held back by the very person who was supposed to support him.
Floyd outdoing him. He always been like that. You know what I mean? So I gotta focus on what I'm focused on. He already did what he had to do, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Me, if I did what I like what he did in the sport, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be the same way. You know what I mean? So I don't follow him for like stand to himself and things like that. You know what I mean? But it's also a part of me type thing, like come back and help too. You know what I mean? So there's much love to the whole Mayweather Promotions. You know what I mean? No bad blood type shit. And a lot of people think like when I be tweeting on Instagram, I be mad. I just be talking.
Over time, Davis started to view his relationship with Mayweather as less of a true partnership and more of a tightly managed arrangement. He noticed that Floyd constantly positioned himself at the heart of every decision, making sure he held the upper hand, whether it was picking opponents or managing the media. Mayweather's strategy felt intentional, focused more on keeping control of Davis's career than helping him grow. That realization sparked a rising sense of mistrust and created more distance between them.
Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight? It's gonna be that. It don't make no fucking sense. You don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you. You don't know.
Is there like a
The last question guys ever
is
right
there like a love-hate quality, like
Yeah.
fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest, but he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. Cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always I'm this.
Davis hasn't bitten his tongue when calling out Mayweather's refusal to celebrate anyone but himself. He believes Floyd's ego won't let him genuinely support someone else's success. Davis says that attitude was a major reason why Floyd held back on supporting a rematch with Roach instead of putting Davis's best interests first. Floyd seemed more worried about being overshadowed by one of his own proteges.
You know, so I don't want Tank to necessarily leave Mayweather. I think he's in this position because of everything that Mayweather and Leonard LB have done for him. So I do want him to do what he is saying. Take control of your career. Say that you want Shakur and actually fight Shakur. Say that you want Devin and actually fight Devin. You know, fight these guys. Don't keep making new names. Like, you gave Barrios a chance. You gave Isaac a chance. Like, you know, Gamboa. Like, those aren't the fights that we...
The split between Davis and Mayweather Promotions wasn't some quiet departure. It was loud, chaotic, and messy, with public arguments, subtle jabs, and clashes over who controlled the promotion. Grabbing headlines, Davis pushed for more freedom and honesty, while Mayweather looked unwilling to let go. The breakup exposed just how deep the problems ran and made it obvious to fans that their relationship had turned toxic long before it officially fell apart.
When Floyd left Bob Arum, it's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not going to elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just going to say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth. And I think it will serve him best to go and be his own.
The tension has been simmering for a long time, from disputes over opponents to clashing views on training. Davis and Mayweather have butted heads behind closed doors. Mayweather regularly questioned Davis's choices, including his decision to run it back with Roach, but Davis's laser-focused preparation for the rematch has caught even his biggest critics off guard. Floyd included. Davis knows what's on the line now. Another loss wouldn't just sting. It would seriously hurt his reputation way more than the first one did.
The Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time, because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, you know, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. You know, I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. You know, so Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, you know, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
The hype around the upcoming rematch has hit a boiling point. Fans and analysts can't wait to see how both fighters handle the second fight. The first matchup left too many questions hanging. Now, with Las Vegas set to host the event, there's a strong feeling this showdown will finally settle the rivalry and clarify where each fighter stands in the sport.
Got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bro, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. and Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened to.
In their first fight, Roach surprised a lot of people by pushing Davis to the edge. It wasn't just a tight battle, it was eye-opening. Roach showed weaknesses in Davis's defense, making fans wonder if Davis was still growing or starting to fade. Now the rematch is bigger than just a fight, it's a test. Davis has to dominate to regain trust, while Roach has the chance to step up to elite level.
Out to my man Lamont.
All right, so you sparred Lamont Roach in preparation for his bout with Gervonta Davis. At first, what did you think of the fight?
What did I think of the fight? It's a little different for me because it's definitely a point of bias there.
Wait, let me put out a disclaimer. He's from Baltimore.
Definitely, I mean, he's Baltimore all day. But I'm looking at it from a point of bias because his dad, you know, Ben Johnson Sr., and all them guys that was down there, the coaches Tim and everything like that, they all good people. So I got to know them on a whole personal level. And then I get to see like how hard a world champion works, and not only that, to see how he treated his people. So I was going for him just off of personality alone, but everything else he made me believe in Kent for real. Because me and him like have similar personalities. I mean, as far as the ring, you know what I mean. So everything we was ready for, like the talking shit and everything like that, because that was coming from me. You know what I'm saying? Me and Lamont. So everything was just everything for real. I think he should have won too, you know what I'm saying? But actually when I was there, I thought they actually was gonna like rob him, you know what I mean? But you can't, you know what I mean? You can't deceive the people that's there for what they seen for real.
So you felt like he should have got the nod in the decision?
Especially with all the other controversy too, it should have been overturned, but we know how boxing works, but I mean, we running it back for a reason, you know what I'm saying?
Davis's team hasn't overlooked the threat Roach poses. His coach has openly praised Roach's smart ring awareness and toughness, but they remain confident that Davis just needs a few adjustments to put on a stronger showing. They feel the first fight was close because of small mistakes, not because Roach was more skilled. Now their goal is to make sure the rematch is a clear win.
By Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity. You know?
What's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, everybody thought Jaleel won. We just got to turn, hit the gears a little harder. We ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory,
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a neutral zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily a stoppage is good, but not necessarily. You just got to.
According to Teofimo Lopez, Davis went through a form of professional isolation after the fight. Many in the boxing world pulled away from him, especially as the criticism grew louder. Those who once praised Davis started doubting his skills. That change in attitude was tough, highlighting how fast the boxing community can turn against one of its own when results don't meet expectations.
A lot of people, look what they did with Gervonta too. I want everybody, all these young fighters that are listening to this, and you could clip this. It's a short part right here.
I got you.
To Ryan could clip this right here. To all you young fighters, look at the amount of love they were giving and sharing to Gervonta Tank Davis prior to the fight. Look at what all the reporters were doing prior to the fight. Look how they were all laughing at all his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting to down this man. Down him. See, I'm going to talk my smack with Tank, but that's because I want to fight him. That's me. I can say that. But I just want all you young fighters to really look about it. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
They won't ever care about us. When you're winning, they're going to be there. But they're waiting for any moment to slip up. Just a man, even a draw Look how much hate he got out of it.
Yeah, not to get deep, but you know, it's a part of our psychology. We have to learn how to care about other people. You know?
During the first fight, Davis was mentally and emotionally exhausted. He admitted his focus was off and his physical health was declining. Davis even thought about therapy and taking a break from boxing. Competing while dealing with those struggles added hidden pressure. The upcoming rematch gives him a chance to compete as his real self with a clear head and fresh energy.
He wants to do therapy. He wants to do real estate. They want to say he wasn't all in because him and Roach are friends and he's going to be focused for the second fight. A lot of excuses. They want to say it's because of the braids, the oil getting in his eye. Whatever. This is what really happened. And I just now came to this conclusion because I've been making some other videos for Patreon. But Lamont Roach posted a video recently on
Roach entered the first fight with a sharp game plan. He took advantage of Davis's slow reflexes and fading stamina in the later rounds. Those weaknesses weren't random, they were intentional targets. Roach's win in that fight raised serious doubts about Davis's toughness and endurance. Now the rematch will show if Davis has fixed those problems or if Roach's tactics will win again.
I don't know if Lamont Roach exposed weaknesses of Tank Davis. It very much reminds me of Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. What Roach did, Rolly was doing the same thing. He ended up implementing it better against Ryan Garcia. Tank was having huge issues, and that's the Black Two Sugars. Watch me call that fight. I started laughing. I couldn't believe it because all he was patient with good power. All Roach was patient. He stayed focused. That's why him drinking and partying and shit is messing with me because he beat him here. He stayed so damn focused. And he knew when Tank was going to punch. He knew when not to punch. And when he countered Tank, he rocked Tank. Tank got rocked at least twice that.
I'm not sure if Lamont Roach really exposed weaknesses in Tank Davis. It reminds me a lot of Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. What Roach did, Rolly was doing too, but Rolly executed it better against Garcia. Tank was struggling big time, and that's the key here. Watch me call that fight. I started laughing because all Roach did was stay patient with solid power. That's why all this talk about him drinking and partying is messing with me. He beat Tank by staying so focused. He knew exactly when Tank would throw a punch, when to hold back, and when to counter. Roach rocked Tank at least twice that fight. Some boxing analysts have said Davis's stumble wasn't completely Roach's fault. It was more grease in the eyes messing with his balance and sight. That moment swung public opinion toward Roach, but insiders say it wasn't as clear-cut as it looked, knowing that Davis is now training harder than ever, ready to come back with sharper vision, both literally and figuratively, to dominate the rematch and show everyone his real power.
People keep saying like Lamont dang near like beat Tank like clean, like basically like we seen it, like yeah, he did Tank that one, but like Tank was limping out the ring. Bro, he didn't even get over on Tank for real. Y'all only saying that because Tank took the knee. And when Tank took the knee, it wasn't how like Ryan Garcia was when he took the knee. Once Tank went to his body, it was like, dang, like I'm taking him to get right back up. Can you do that in boxing? No. But y'all can't say that basically that, oh yeah, he won because of the knee. That shows that people just want to see Tank lose, bruh. Cause y'all betting y'all money on basically Tank losing because of that knee. Yes, it was a good fight. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Lamont was defending himself like he's skilled. But bruh, he ain't walk all over Tank. Tank, bruh, if y'all go back and watch the highlights, I just watched the highlights last.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for what's next.